Hey guys, it's time for another kicking of the week, and this time I got a question from Romain Bierman how we could do a little bit more of up-tempo kicks. So yeah, I thought we'd cover that, pull up the tempo to 110 BPM, and let's get working in Serum. So what we're going to start off with first is we're going to make a punch, and it doesn't really matter too much for either hardstyle or up-tempo hardcore in this case. You just choose some waveforms that you like, pull down that random, and pull down the octaves as well. Give it a little pitch envelope and see if you like the sound at first. So let's do that. And of course we're gonna put in a note as well. And let's maybe make it spike up a little bit more, like 31. Now let's see if this wavetable has what we want for our punch. I think this can work as a punch. Let's distort this. And maybe play a little bit with the phase, see if that changes the sound. So I've just used these, the envelope and the phasing a little bit to get the sound that I had in mind for our punch, and which already works quite well. Let's just choose a filter and see if we can get a nice resonant type of punch out of here. Let's make that filter move a tiny bit, see if that creates a sound. Yeah, this is a little bit punchy, not too resonant though, so we might want to add that with an extra filter or some EQ. Let's first try with a little bit of EQ. And maybe to make this EQ move a little bit as well. Yes. Now this sounds punchy, and I like this. But maybe another filter or maybe some hyper will just change the phase a little bit of this punch and give it an extra, it's just made a little bit more unique punch sound. That's what I kind of am looking for. Let's just try this one. This is better, yeah. Let's just see what happens when we put that hyper on there as well. That gives a little bit of an extra dimension to this sound. Let's see how it sounds in mono, because if it doesn't sound well in mono, I won't keep it on there. I like this actually, that sounds sick. Yeah, let's keep this. I like this, so let's sample it. It sounds nice and punchy, but a little bit stereo as well, but yeah, it works in mono, so let's just, I like this. Let's keep it like this. And let's make a till first of all, after this. So we go back into Serum and get a new one and make a till. It's always smart to first have the character of your punch, and after that work on the character for your till. Because if you don't, you can maybe have a sick punch and a sick till, but they don't work together. So it's always smart to know that the end result that you're working towards is already working. So that's why I'm starting with a till right now before I start finishing our punch. This way we can know that this punch or this till is actually fitting with the other sound. So let's do it like this. Now it's kind of glued together, and now we can already make a good till for our punch. I think there's some nice movement in here, so we can keep this wavetable. Now it's just a matter of finding that right movement for the till. And I think because uptempo kicks need to have a lot of movement, you kind of want the envelope to be a little bit faster. So maybe we want to pull this down a little bit so it just scrolls to that wavetable position a little bit faster. Let's see what this does. It's a little bit of a different shape. Maybe it works nice when we distort this. So we don't really hear much of this movement anymore now. Let's see if we change the phase, maybe that brings a little bit of that movement from the wavetable back. This is some more audible movement in the till. So let's just keep that here and choose some kind of filter and see if we can get a more aggressive crunch out of here. Oh, this works, but we now need to get that kind of resonance in the right spot, looking at the timing. Because sometimes when you change the drive or change a bit of the cutoff or the resonance, it just moves the resonance a little bit later in the waveform. So, but I think this works. It's quite much at halftime through the kick, so that's nice. Let's get some extra movement in here, and I like to use this frequency for that. It's just gonna move a little bit more. And now let's EQ this further. Maybe thicken up that growl a little bit of the character and doing a little bit of a low cut, so it's getting a more kind of analog sound. This is really nice. So let's export this. And in here we have this character of our till. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna glue the two together so you have the right movement. And now we're gonna make the punch a little bit more fat and the till a little bit more fat as well. Let's cut this off. Yes, that's good. Let's normalize both of them and put them in their own mixer channels. Pull them down a little bit. So this punch already has this good character, but just as with hardstyle kicks, you kind of want to fatten up that character a little bit. And yeah, we're gonna do that with just kind of club kick. I think this one can work. So yeah, again, I'm just listening for kind of the same pitch and yeah, the right amount of snap in that club kick. So it's a little bit of feeling, and then I'm gonna play around with the pogo, see if this way we can make it really fit with that punch. This is good. Now it's really making the punch snap, and that's right. But the high end in our punch is a little bit too digital. So a way I like to fix that is maybe getting something of a clap, just any kind of more Foley sound, and distort it a little bit more and see if we can maybe make this high end a little bit more tight again. I think this one's dry enough. Of course, we're gonna cut off the rest of the clap that we don't want to hear. It should have the right sound already. Yeah, like I said, normally I would distort it, but I actually like this clap. It's actually making this punch sound right. It really just adds something. So I'm just gonna keep this as a pure clap. Also, if you look at the clap, it's also a little bit edited before it's even sampled in these Vengeance packs. Let's just make sure to do a low cut. Maybe boost some of the highs. Yeah, that gives a little bit more feeling into the punch instead of sounding digital. Let's maybe distort a little bit more. Yeah. I'm just gonna check the phasing of all these sounds together because that's where I think we can do a little bit better. Yeah, I think these three layers can just make a good punch. That's good. And let's EQ it a little bit before we distort it. Maybe that way we can get a little bit more punchy bleepiness in there. And after this, we're gonna EQ the highs a little bit. Yeah, EQing these highs in punch can just really make the balance right again and gives it a little bit more snap. So yeah, I think this is quite finished for the punch. Let's just make a new tail layer, and yeah, since we got the character ready already, we just need to have a little bit of a sub layer, and think that we're done at least with the tail over there then. So choosing something again, down and down by 2 octaves, put it in an A again, putting up my volume. Okay. I think this is good enough. We're gonna low pass this anyway. Maybe make that move a tiny bit. So we get some movement in there. And put some noise in there too. Okay, let's distort it a little bit more, I think, before we export it. Yeah, gives a little more grittiness in there. And let's layer this with our other layer. So this is just that warm layer again that's gonna finish the till. It's gonna make it way more thick. And let's put these two in a bus. And the techniques that I'm using right now aren't too different from when I'm making hardstyle kicks. So yeah, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna filter this again, I'm gonna give it some weird distortion and get a new sound out of there, layer that with our old till, and that way we're gonna get an even fatter till. So yeah, I don't need this, but I do need this. Let's see if we can get a good distorted, extra distorted till out of here, and yeah, just make an extra layer out of the layers that we already have. So that saves a lot of time making a new one. I want it to be more aggressive, so let's do this maybe? Okay. I think this gives a new sound to our mids, but it destroys the highs a little bit. So maybe if we high shelf this. Something like that perhaps. And just EQ it. Sounds a little bit too wacky on its own, so we might have to change this. But I think we could be good here as well. Just creating this extra layer. It's gonna hopefully get some more dimension in this sound. Put the volume up on this one. Yeah, it really works. Maybe give it a little bit of a cutoff so it doesn't start out of nowhere. And check this on low volume, see if there's anything wrong with it. I think it's actually working. Let's see how this looks in total. That's quite balanced, maybe a little bit too much sub now. And let's put these two into one bus. And first, before we're gonna limit this, we're gonna look if there's any difference or any problems in here. I don't think so actually. It's clipping a tiny bit, so we want to pull that down to see if there are really any problems. No, there's actually nothing really wrong. No spikes, no crossovers that we need to fix. So that's good. Yeah, then we're just gonna limit this. Yeah, I'm just gonna limit this like this. Just change the put up the volume of the punch a little bit. Yeah, this is my take on an up-tempo kick.